Hey everyone, sorry I'm not able to be there today. I'm going to go through these notes really quick. Hopefully you remember some things about parallel lines from last year. Um, yeah, so in essence, parallel lines that don't touch, how we can tell from equations, not just looking at a picture, as you will notice the slopes are the same and the y-intercepts are different, because if they were all the same, they would just be the same lines. So how can we tell if these two lines are parallel? You're going to check the slopes. Right here, the slope is negative 1/3. This second one, we're going to have to rewrite. We're going to have to get y by itself, make it easy to see what the slope is. And we will see that negative 2/6 simplifies to negative 1/3. Looking at both these equations, the slope is negative 1/3. The y-intercepts are different, and that tells us the lines are parallel. Almost spelled that wrong. And if you're going through the notes yourself, you'll see that the same. Gonna go through another one of these problems. Writing equations of lines. These ones are always tricky. It gives us a point, and if you remember when we were working with lines, if I gave you a slope and a point, you could come up with an equation. And the thing about the word parallel, or the phrase parallel to, that's what gives us the slope. So the idea here is that if we are going to be parallel to the line y equals 4/5 x minus 6, then we know the slope that our parallel line will have is going to be the same, 4/5. So we're going to use our point, and we're going to substitute in our m, our x-coordinate, and our y-coordinate. So from the point, our y-coordinate is 7, our slope is 4/5. Our x-coordinate is 5. 4/5 times 5, the 5's cancel, so you're left with 4. And we can subtract 4 to get our b value of 3. And of course, it's asking for the equation, so we're not done. We've got to make sure to write our equation y equals 4/5 x plus 3. Putting it all together. So the point gives us an x and a y to plug in to help us find our y-intercept, and in the parallel to that line tells us the slope is going to be 4/5. So there's the work for that one on the next slide. So find an equation of a line that passes through the point and is parallel. So this is the same type of thing, but here's the trick. That is not slope-intercept form. Do not just assume the slope is 2 right away. You got to get y by itself before you can make that assumption. Now, in this case, it actually ends up being 2, but please make sure to check. It certainly does not always work out that way. And when I say check, I mean get it in slope-intercept form, so you can see the slope nice and easy. So again, in this case, it happens to be that the number in front of x was the slope, but that certainly does not always work out. So our m is 2, our slope is 2. We want to be parallel, so we know that our line that we're going to write is also going to have a slope of 2. It gives us a point, so we're going to substitute in an x and a y. So the y-coordinate is 10, the x-coordinate is 1. We don't know what b is, so we're going to solve for it. 2 times 1 is 2. To get b by itself, we have to subtract 2 from both sides. And we get a equals b. We put it all together. We get y equals 2x plus 8. Alright, using information, write the equation of line. So this is more just reminders of writing equations of lines. If you're given a slope and a y-intercept, pretty straightforward. Plug them in for m and b. Number 6, slope before pass through 2, -5. Not as straightforward. Remember, we're going to plug in some things because we don't know b. Our b is our mystery. we're going to plug in numbers for y, m, and b. Negative 5m is 4x. We're going to substitute in 2 from our coordinates. Negative 5 equals 8 plus b. We're going to subtract 8 from both sides. And b equals negative 13. So putting it all together, y equals 4x minus 13. Writing the equation of a line passing through 2 points, of course, this time we don't know the slope. So step 1 is finding slope. Need that slope formula. Change in y over change in x. So we're going to do the y coordinates subtracted, being very careful with our negatives. And then we're going to subtract our x coordinates in the same order. Negative 7 minus negative 4 is negative 3. 3 minus 2 is 1, so our slope is going to be negative 3. Now, when we solve for b, because we don't know what our y-intercept is, you can choose either point. It doesn't matter. If you're doing it correctly, it'll work with either. I'm just going to choose the first point. So for y, I'm going to plug in negative 4. For the slope, I'm going to plug in negative 3. For my x-coordinate, for negative 4, I'm going to plug in 2. And then we're going to solve from there. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. We got to add 6 to both sides to get b by itself. We get 2 equals b. So our final answer is y equals negative 3x plus 2. One more, hopefully you're thinking about trying some of these on your own. Got to find the slope first. You'll notice that negative 7 minus negative 7 is 0 over negative 1. Something we didn't do great on the quiz. 0 divided by any number besides itself is 0. Our slope is 0. There's a faster way to get the equation, which is looking and noticing that the points share something in common. But if you didn't notice that, we can just plug in things to solve for b, like we have been. Y, we can substitute in negative 7. M, we can substitute in 0. X, we can substitute in 4 or 3. Doesn't really matter. We're multiplying it by 0. 0 times 4 is 0. 0 plus b is just b, and our y-intercept is negative 7. So we would write an equation y equals 0x minus 7, but of course 0x is just 0, and 0 minus 7 is negative 7, so our equation, our horizontal line, if you recall, is going to be y equals negative 7. Alright, parallel to the line, 3x plus 6y equals 9, and going through a point. So again, parallel to, that's going to give us our slope. So we got to rewrite here. Oops, that's got to be a y. We got to get y by itself so we can identify that slope easily. Make sure you simplify a little bit too. Negative 3 divided by 6 is negative 1/2. The 9 divided by 6 is 3/2. We don't need it though. That doesn't get used at all. We just need the slope from that parallel to thing. And now that we have a slope and we have our point x comma y, we're going to take our y equals mx plus b and plug in everything that we need to solve for b, because we don't know what b is. Y, we're going to substitute a negative 5 from the point. M, it's parallel to this first line, so that's going to have the same slope as that line, so it's negative 1/2. We're going to substitute in 2 for x, and we are going to simplify here. Negative 1/2 times 2 is negative 1. We're going to add 1 to both sides. We get negative 4 equals b. Putting it all together, y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. Ooh, did I do something wrong? Oh, minus 4. I wrote it right. Sorry about that. That's what I get. That's why I have the answer slides. So when I make silly mistakes, that I can catch them really fast. Oops, I kind of just zoomed in here, didn't I? There we go. I think, how many more do we have? We have a few more, 2 more. Oh, this one's a little tricky. Passes through the x-axis at 4. You got to write that as the point 4 comma 0. Y-axis at negative 6. We got to write that as the point 0 comma negative 6. Now we're back to finding the equation of a line through 2 points. So we need to find the slope first, which is subtract the y's over subtract the x's. The order matters a little bit. You'll notice that the 2 numbers above and below each other are from the same point. We get negative 6 over negative 4, which does simplify to positive. Negative divided by negative is positive. 3/2. And we know the y-intercept. We know b. So don't try to solve for it again. We know b. That's a exclamation point, not a question mark. So we can just go straight to our line. Y equals 3/2 x minus 6. And then finally, graphing our line. If we get it into y equals mx plus b, we'll know how to graph this nicely. So I'm going to move the x term to the other side. We get negative 3y equals negative 2x plus 12. And then we got to get y by itself, so we divide everything by negative 3. We get y equals negative divided by negative is positive, 2/3 x minus 4. So we're going to draw our point on the y-axis at negative 4, and then we're going to run 3. Rise 2 there, 1, 2, 3 right there, rise 1, 2, run 1, 2, 3 right there, rise 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, run there. Or we go the other way, down 2, left 3, down 2, left 3, down 2, left 3 for our line right there. All right, everybody. Hopefully you remembered some of that. Hopefully the Desmos activity went well. Get your homework done. We'll be reviewing tomorrow, so if you have questions, hopefully I should be there on Tuesday to help out and answer questions if you have them. Make sure to do your Math Excel homework. Yeah, have a good day.